Welcome back to another PvZ2 Reflourished video where we have an absolutely colossal update to go through. There's been so much content added in this time around. It's very, very exciting. So let's flip and do this, shall we? So as usual, let's talk new plants, and we have an OG creation this time around. This is Flameweed, who costs 200 sun, and essentially it works as you expect it would. So this is a flame variant of Spikeweed. So when a zombie steps on it, it starts taking fire damage and can potentially get turned into ash. And yeah, he looks very, very cool. However, there's been some debate. There's been some debate in the Discord server and online about his looks. I mean, I think he looks pretty snazzy. But yeah, I think possibly, I haven't actually looked myself, but perhaps it's to do with maybe he's kind of lacking a little bit of plantness. But yeah, I think he's cool. I think he's pretty snazzy. I mean, look at those chunky eyebrows he's got. You can't get angry at those chunky eyebrows. So I really like how this animation works. It looks really, really nice. And obviously one of the big advantages of Flameweed is it can also keep your other plants warm, especially when we get to the Hypothermic Hollows, which of course is a variant on Frostbite Cave. So this guy is going to be really, really useful. And the way you unlock Flameweed is by completing the Hypothermic Hollows. I also forgot to mention that this guy can also attack flying enemies, which is very, very useful indeed. We also have two returning plants. We have Pokra or Pokra, however you say it, and we also have Pyavine. So both of these are from the vanilla game. You'll probably recognize them, but they have been changed slightly. They've both been given a new attack. So Pyavine can now shoot fireballs, which can be very effective. They do actually do a pretty good job when you use them on their own. Then for Pokra, it has a piercing attack. So this is sort of included in its little combo that it does. So to do a little bit more damage. Not quite as strong as Pyavine, I'd say, from just like if you just use them on their own. But yeah, still a very, very good plant that you may want to add into your mix. One thing I will say about these two plants is for some reason I think they look really big. I don't know why. It could just be me, but I feel like the plants look much larger than some of the others. So I don't know whether this is the size they normally are, but for me they look too big. Whilst we're on the topic of new plants, there's also a huge selection of new costumes that are now available for purchase in the store. So let's now talk about the big new addition when it comes to content in general, and that is the introduction of Epic Realms. So these are essentially mini worlds that are going to be within premium Epic quests, if that makes sense. So essentially you have to purchase these realms from the in-game store. So the first one is the Hypothermic Hollows, which I just talked about. So how you unlock this is that first of all you have to have played all the expanded levels of Frostbite Caves, and then what you need to do is you need to go into the shop, and the key to unlock this realm is going to be available for gems. So if you go in there and you have enough gems, you can purchase it. Now, as it says here, they have been very clear on this. Only buy one key. So when you buy this key, it won't actually disappear from the store, even though you've purchased it. So, but don't buy multiple, because I'm assuming something really bad happens. So in here are 20 brand new levels, with the reward being Flameweed if you complete them all. So as you go through, you'll have levels where you get to test out Flameweed. I'll explain how it is used, that type of thing. And essentially this world is set a few decades after Zombos first visited it. So you will experience some new mechanics in there, as well as some evolved versions of Frostbite Cave zombies. So I haven't actually come across them myself, but yeah, they sound very, very interesting indeed. Now, one thing I absolutely love about the PvZ community is that they always get involved in loads of the events, and not just like the big ones, not like just like Christmas and all that type of stuff, all the little ones like April Fools. And this time around, this year, loads of the different mods have gone all in on April Fool's Day. However, Reflourished has done something very, very enjoyable, and they have done a collaboration with PvZ3. That's right, running until April 15th. There is an April Fool's event running in this, and it is, oh, it's so good. It's so funny, honestly. And if you played PvZ3, and obviously if you're involved in the community, if you know the debates that are going on, there's some really, really funny stuff in there. And yeah, it's been done really, really well. And yeah, it's a bit janky, but it's supposed to be. But honestly, check it out. It's really, really fun. It's not as difficult as any of the other type of levels. It's supposed to be fun, tongue-in-cheek, all that type of stuff. So yeah, go and check that out. It's really, really, really good. Whilst we're on the topic of events, we also have Springening that is here as well. So that's another event you can tuck into. Loads of stuff in here as well. Lots of prizes to be won and lots of chocolate as well, obviously. So yeah, that runs until April 11th. Coming up in the next few days, we also have Penny's challenges. So this is going to be a new thing that is starting, which is essentially going to bring harder, more difficult levels that come round on a regular basis. It's going to start on April 8th. These are going to be gauntlet style, so those of you who are Reflourished pros, you're definitely going to want to check these out, and they come with huge coin rewards, so another incentive to play those. Finally, on the event side of things, we have birthdays, which is starting May 2nd, and this of course is going to include timed event levels as well as pinata parties. Amongst the plethora of new content in this update as well, one of my favorite things is the free play mode. So there's kind of a sandbox level. This can be found in the tourist trap island once you unlock it. And yeah, so this is basically a level, if you've played PvZ Beautiful Town, for example, there's a sandbox mode, and it's great for testing out different strategies, all that type of stuff. So in here, it's basically a randomized level. So you can go in here, you have access to all of the plants that are in the mod, and yeah, so you can just try out or just have a good time. And I really, really enjoy it. The only issue is it is completely random. So part of me, unless you're trying to think of a strategy that's designed to tackle any combination of zombie, I think it can be a little bit disorientating, or you're not really sure what strategy to go with. So I think perhaps maybe having some additional sandbox levels, you know, ones that just have regular zombies, cone heads, you know, and there's different types so you can see how they go against. I know obviously that's a huge amount of work, but yeah, that's the only thing I would say. But yeah, it is really, really good, and especially if you want to check out the new plants, it's a really, really great way to do so, just to see what they do without having obviously to put in tons of time to try and unlock them and all that type of stuff. Going back to what I briefly just touched on, we have the tourist trap world. So this is where epic quests are now going to be housed. So there's been a bit of an overhaul on epic quests, but the main thing here is that they are now going to be replayable. But there's a bit of a caveat with that, because whilst this feature has now been added, it does mean that all progress on previous epic quests has been reset. You will be able to redo them, but if you were halfway through one, unfortunately, that resets. So yeah, just be mindful of that. So if all that progress is gone, that is why. But in here, this means it's all housed in a nice area, and yeah, a whole bunch of other things are gonna go in here as well. But I think it's really nice. I absolutely love that they've made it its own world, and the fact they've called it Tourist Trap as well. Very, very good. So yeah, so that's just a lot nicer, and it's really, you know, adds a more professional touch to it, I think. Now, to unlock the Tourist Trap world, you have to have completed the first level of the Flame on Epic Quest. Once you've done that, the world will unlock for you. It's also worth mentioning that the Penny's Classroom Epic Quest has been retired due to the difficulty in upkeep, so that is no longer available, unfortunately. However, instead, we have a brand new Epic Quest called Parody Insanity, where you need to help Dave and Penny stop Zomboss's cheap movie production rip-offs. Speaking of insanity, Insanity quests have had some changes also. Hypothermic Hollows have been added in here, so they are now available within that mix. Brainbusters, which is a community requested addition, these have now been added to various worlds. And also, when it comes to necromancies, Dark Ages is now guaranteed to have necromancy events, and the zombies within those necromancies are now randomized. It's not just unarmored basic zombies, and this will apply to every world that features gravestones, especially in modern day. Amongst everything else within this update, there have been some general additions and changes as well. For example, code templates for custom level makers have been added. There's been increased coin drops in endless zones. There's been various updates across the board to levels and zombie layouts. This of course includes bug fixes as well for various issues, including sound, hitboxes and dialogue, all that type of thing. And gem rewards have been buffed from various sources, including timed events and daily quests. The very last thing, of course, is balance changes, and as always, There's absolutely tons of these. However, due to the length of this video already, I'll show them on screen now, but if you do want to check them out, there is a link in the description to the patch notes so you can have a look at all the changes that have been made. Anyway guys, that's about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think of this in the comments below, but other than that, remember to like and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.